My name is David Siddons and I'm president of the David Siddons Group.
And this is Stefania Cambarau, and I'm the territory manager for Miami Beach and Bal Harbour.
And off the back of our 2022 report, this video is for us to discuss what specifically is going on the beach as we move through 2022 and beyond, and the kind of trends and patterns that we're seeing develop. So, Steph, we've shot these videos before and we always discuss at a very granular level what's happening, because as you go through from the big report and we come down to the micro level to answer the questions and help address the needs and wants of those very specific types of buyers and sellers, let's jump into the beach where you live, where you know, where you've been the territory manager for a decade now.
So David, yes, just like you said, when we talk about the report, of course, we put in there all the different neighborhoods, and we want to concentrate today on the Miami Beach condo market in particular. So what's going on is that many of the units in Miami Beach that were used to be on the market, they were second homes. The owners used to come and use those units twice a year, 3 times a year, 6 months per year, and that was the norm for Miami Beach. Nowadays, we're seeing so many relocations, and by relocation I mean someone coming to the market to buy units to either stay with the family all year long or the 6 months, or simply using the property way more than before. For the past year and a half, we have seen the domestic buyers, California, from San Francisco, from Los Angeles, from New York, and from the tri-state area. This has been for a year and a half, definitely the podium for Miami Beach. However, we have seen a huge flux of international buyers. We have a listing that we just put out there. We have had in a weekend 10 showings, and 8 of them are international buyers.
And when you say international, just clarify
where these
guys are coming from.
I'm talking about South America, Mexico, Uruguay, Argentina. I'm talking about Europe, and I'm talking about Italy, Romania. We had anticipated that in our previous video, that people were like on the border waiting patiently to come in and finally spend their time in the States and in Miami, and this has definitely happened in the past month. We can confirm that this trend has started and is going to become bigger and bigger as we go.
So that's interesting, because if you go back and watch part 2 of our 2022 forecast, I'm doing an interview with Jimmy Lee, and Jimmy is talking about the influence of the South American buyers who are going to come in, and he anticipated and said, David, get ready, these guys are going to come, and you're just telling me it's already now happening.
And this is just creating sort of a bottleneck of this demand. There was still the domestic buyer, extremely strong demand from domestic buyers, and international buyers, and creating this bottleneck, and where of course the inventory is short, and the demand is huge. So of course there's no other way than for these prices to stay high, and this market to stay high.
So with that in mind, let's get into the product, because at the end of the day there's got to be some kind of guidance here that we're going to give those buyers and sellers. I think understandably, if you're a seller, it's a great time to be a seller. You're going to get top level, and actually if we reflect, and again we're going to bring up on the screen right now those numbers from Condo Geeks, our proprietary software that we developed and we use to analyze the condo market. South of Fifth went up 40%. 40% was the average dollar per square foot that we saw a jump from 2020 to 2021, which is unbelievable. Never seen that jump before. And it's a new peak.
The strong demand that we have nowadays that is bringing the price per square foot in South of Fifth to an average of 1,400 per square foot, because of course we have seen buildings like Continuum, they used to sell on an average of 1,500 per square foot, and they have now jumped 40% up. This trend is not just a trend, but it's truly a new reality, and the reason is what we just discussed. The demand, the strength of this demand, it's not gonna diminish.
And the buyers are different. These types of buyers are now no longer second home buyers.
This is correct, and actually this is the reason why we talk about a changing face of Miami Beach. Those owners that used to be second home owners are now primary. The new buyers are now primary. And this is gonna make the inventory even shorter, because it's very different to present an offer to an investor and to present an offer to a primary owner. The offer has to be a much higher premium in order to let the primary owner leave and go somewhere else.
The same problem that we see in the housing market, which is
exactly
parallel that I have when I'm selling Coral Gables and Coconut Grove and Ponce Davis and all those kind of big single family markets, which then comes into the rental market, because all of these systems play off each other, and we try to understand the holistic systems, all these parts playing a role. The rental market, and I was looking at the numbers before.
The rental market, David, in Miami Beach in particular, is very linked to the sales market. And the reason is that whoever used to come to rent a property in Miami Beach for 4 months, 6 months, part of the year, is not finding any more inventory to rent. So even those regular snowbirds that used to come to Miami Beach are now pushed into buying a new property instead of renting, since there's nothing to rent.
Yeah, I took a look at south of 5th. I was looking at the stats, and I just looked up what was going on south of 5th for buildings post 2000, how many rentals we had and how much we have available.
None.
And what I discovered, we had 76 rentals in the last 6 months, and the current inventory is only 20 units available for rent. And if you break that down, that's like 1.5 months of inventory, which is next to nothing.
We're experiencing this on a day-by-day case. We have people trying. Many of our clients end up buying instead of renting because of the shortage.
It's
extremely expensive. That 40% of the jump that we see in the sales price, it's actually very, very similar to what we see in the rental number.
Well, what are they paying in rental numbers? I mean, you lived in Continuum, sold Continuum, and you know so many of the owners. And the rental figures that we saw, I mean, what do you pay for a two-bedroom?
A two-bedroom unit used to rent for around the $12,000 range easily in the winter month. This was the high rate. And those same units are renting at $20,000.
Yeah, the cheapest I found was 16, and the most expensive the rate was $25,000 for a two-bedroom.
Correct.
And then you get into 3 bedrooms,
which is like 40, 45, 50.
Like people are paying $45,000 a month.
Absolutely.
To rent 3 and 4 bedroom units.
That actually brings us to the big difference that we have always stressed between the 2 and the 3 bedroom. The 3 bedroom in Miami Beach is very, very short inventory, no matter what. And there are newer construction. One is coming up, 5 Park is coming up.
Let's give some solutions to the problems that we clearly have.
We clearly have a problem. So there are newer buildings, and there's very little new construction in Miami Beach. That has to be said. It's very different than what's going on in other neighborhoods. However, there is some new construction, and one product is 5 Park, which is coming up right on 5th Street in Alton. Unbelievable views, great architecture, great services. And in this building, the 3 bedroom, which we said is clearly a problem because you cannot get in a 3 bedroom in a high rise for less than $4.5–5 million. In this product, the 5 Park, you actually get in for a large, brand new product with all the services at $3.5 million.
Which, just so you guys know, and again, it's important to recognize that as Steph is a territory expert within this market, we have territory managers throughout Miami and into Broward, and we reflect on all the pre-construction and all the buildings, the old and the new, throughout the system. We use our software. We're not just information providers, we're educators, because we process this. We don't just regurgitate like a parrot.
Yeah.
We're going to give you the line-by-line variables of why this building, and at this kind of number, I can take you and we can take you through across the whole of Miami and stack this against everything else. And weirdly enough, even at this number, this is a very compelling price point.
It is a very compelling price point because, again, it's a newer property. It's in that location, which is the most exclusive pocket of South Beach. and it's just impossible to find anything else in older buildings. So that's definitely something to be taken in consideration.
When's the building going to be finished? When's it start? It's starting now?
It started now. It's not going to be finished until 2024. It's a great product.
And we've been through the sales office and we've sat down and gone through this. And again, you know, we're always early into these markets, early to educate and talk about this kind of product. And, you know, we know these units and lines to talk about. But again, things move very, very fast. If we look right now and we cross-analyze all these other buildings through Miami, so many of the ones that we did have that were considered new, the LSA in Edgewater, the Baccarat, the Aston Martin,
completely sold.
They're all sold out.
Yeah.
So this is an unbelievable experience to go through these buildings and see that there's really no product available. And then now we're turning to these new ones that are coming. But if you want to use it and then rent it, I mean, the math has to really balance out here. It's going to be a pretty good return if we're looking at what
it is actually excellent right now, because the same 3-bedroom that we're discussing, that it could be bought in the 3.5 million range, that is something that is gonna, once it hits the market, is easily gonna rent for great return, and we're talking about 5 to 6% return on those.
And I know the numbers start at like in the 3s, but they also go between 3.5, up to 6?
Yes.
Or more. But when you're looking at, we were looking at this before at the continuum rental figures and some of the other buildings around in South of Fifth, you've got, 1,000 South Point and Murano Portofino,
Murano Grande and Icon and Apogee. So those are all the units that are renting over the $40,000 to $50,000 when it comes to the 3-bedroom.
So $40,000 on, let's say, a 3-bedroom unit,
yes,
or 4-bedroom unit, and then if you're able to purchase this somewhere between $4 and $6 million, that's really compelling. So you've got a good cap rate, and then you've got appreciation of asset on top of that.
Oh, yes.
So this is why we actually, as recipients in South Florida, have had so many buyers coming in, because normally you get one or the other. You sometimes get the cap, sometimes you get the appreciation of asset, but now we've got both.
And again, in Miami Beach in particular, because you brought in also the other neighborhoods, which makes a lot of sense to compare. In Miami Beach in particular, the new construction is very little. It's really, we have a few buildings coming out. You can count them in one hand.
What have we got? Take us through the buildings on the beach that you're aware of, obviously, that we.
So when it comes to the newer construction, just like you said, they are all sold. 57 Ocean was sold, 87 Park was sold. These are great luxury buildings that are completely sold out, and there's very hard to find anything in resale. So when it comes to the pre-construction, truly. In Miami Beach, we have a few units in Monaco, which is not on the sand and is in mid-beach. And it's a great product with a beautiful marina. Very few units left. We have 5 Park. And
we had Monad, which we sold together. We sold a great unit in Monad.
And Monad Terrace is a wonderful product on the bay, very, very exclusive. And that is also sold out.
Steph knows every single building on the beach, and it's crazy because her skill has always been the ability to go line by line and understand the floor plans, because we know they're not all created equally. And you've
Absolutely.
seen these, and you know the old buildings and the new buildings. So if you really want good optics, Steph is going to be able to give you those and actually explain why a unit is good or bad or ugly, as we say.
Or it keeps the value or not.
Yeah, this is really, really key. And then obviously you move into the single family market as well, because you know that. But as we move forward, how are you addressing, and I think it's good to let people know when they're having a hard time finding what they want, how are you finding product otherwise? What are you doing?
We have done a lot of off-market sales, and this is happening because we dig in a specific building, in a specific line, and we go and search what the client is looking for, and we find it.
Yeah, because this is like what we call iceberg real estate, 90% of the movement below the water.
We've recently done a sale in 87 Park, amazing building from Lorenzo
we did
Piano.
off-market.
And that was also an off-market. And that was because the client wanted that line and only that line, and we were able to find it for him. So that's a great resource that we can offer to any buyer that is looking in the very dry market.
So if you're out there looking on Zillow and Trulia and you're beating your head against your computer because you can't find what you want, here we are. Here's your solution. And it's not easy, and not everyone does it because it is a
labor intensive, of course.
Very labor intensive. But that is really the only way to get truly what you want. And if you want to understand the numbers, we've got the software, we've got the on-the-ground experience, we know how it's working. Steph, I think this has been fantastic.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. This is always great to have chats with you, and you learn from this man every minute that you stand next to him.
Thank you. I mean, this is a wonderful insight into our lives, into our markets. And I always say, if you want to be the smartest person in the room, surround yourself by the smartest people. Steph is the smartest person on the beach.
Likewise.
She knows this, and we look forward to helping you. See our information below. Give us a call, shoot us an email, follow us on Instagram, follow Steph, and we look forward to seeing you for another video soon.
We're here. See you soon.
Thank you.